GBS.
Good afternoon. It's 1 p.m. here in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, and this is The Ambassador with me, your ambassador, Paul Mathenge. And this is where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Now to our first story. South Sudan's first Vice President, Riek Machar, has been arrested this morning. Riek, who has been under a house arrest for quite some time, has been taken to custody amid the rising tension in the country that has been facing leadership issues, leading to a total division between the opposition and the government. Uganda's deployment of its police is one among the many issues that have raised tension, and the failure to implement the 2018 peace deal is also threatening its peace, as Davis Karani reports.
Uganda's move to send troops to Juba sparks outrage as first Vice President Riek Machar supporters say the move by Uganda is a clear violation of a UN arms embargo, which is supposed to prevent foreign interference. Riek Machar warns that Uganda's involvement could destroy the 2018 peace deal that ended the brutal civil war that left over 400,000 people dead. But Uganda, which has played a role in South Sudan's politics, insists that the troops are there to stabilize the existing tensions. The UN warns that South Sudan is at the breaking point, with the opposition members being arrested, movement restricted, and clashes spreading. Will Uganda's intervention contain the crisis in South Sudan, or it will push it to another war?
We South Sudanese, what we need peace and food. These are the two things that we are need for. There is nothing like aside. Like what we had, what we've seen. We just need fish and food.
We have also to do something in order to reach the goals we have set. And IGAD is keen and is ready really to move in that sense, and to engage the South Sudanese also to stand with IGAD for peace.
In February 2025, Kiir dismissed several senior government officials, which Machar viewed as a violation of a peace deal, sparking protests and violence in regions such as Bahr el Ghazal. Davis Karani, GBS Ambassador, South Sudan.
Niger's leader, Abdul Hamid Tiani, takes oath as president for a 5-year transitional period, solidifying his authority with a promotion to Army General. The new charter replaces the existing constitution, where regional efforts to speed up a return to democracy faces a setback.
Abdulrahman Tiani, the leader of Niger, was officially inaugurated as the country's president on Wednesday for a 5-year transitional period.
The duration of the transition period is set for 60 months from the date of its promulgation. This duration is flexible depending on the country's security situation, the burden of the reform, and the gender of the Sahel State Confederation.
Tiani, an experienced military officer, was also elevated to the rank of Army General, further cementing his authority after leading the military coup that ousted the elected government in June 2023. According to Mohamed Rufi, the government Secretary General, the 5-year transition officially began on Wednesday. This decision effectively nullifies efforts by regional organizations to accelerate a return to democratic government following the 2023 coup. Vivian Wanjala, GBS News.
Sudanese military leader Abdel Fattah al-Burhan has earlier today declared Khartoum as free after overpowering the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces and capturing the presidential palace. Victor Udun tells us from Sudan.
These are the scenes in Sudan's capital, Khartoum, today after the Sudanese military leader, Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, declared the capital city as free and under their control. In the recent days, the Burhans have made major gains against the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. year, they gained control of Khartoum's main airport and a weapons manufacturing center in Yarmouk munition factory. The Rapid Support Forces flee the capital city Khartoum. Besides, the military army has announced that it took over control of the Central Bank of Sudan.
21 رمضان 21 مارس 2025 من داخل القصر الجمهوري. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر.
Victor Udin, the ambassador.
Now, the former president, Jair Bolsonaro, has been ordered to stand trial for attempting to undermine the country's democracy following his defeat in the 2022 election. Bolsonaro faces charges related to his role in the violent January 2023 storming of government buildings by his supporters, as well as efforts of discredit Brazil's electoral system.
Brazil's Supreme Court has ordered former President Jair Bolsonaro to stand trial on charges of attempting to undermine the country's democracy following his loss in the 2022 election. Bolsonaro faces 5 serious charges, including allegedly trying to abolish democratic rule through violent means. The charges stem from his supporters' violent storming of government buildings in January 2023, shortly after President Luiz's inauguration. Justice Alexandra, overseeing the case, presented evidence of Bolsonaro's efforts to delegitimize the election, particularly by casting doubt on Brazil's electronic voting system.
Não há então dúvidas que a Procuradora.
There is therefore no doubt that the prosecutor's office pointed out more than sufficient elements of reasonable and sufficient indication of authorship and just cause for receiving the complaint against Bolsonaro.
Despite this, Bolsonaro has denied the charges, calling them unfounded.
I hope to put a final point on this. It looks like there is something personal against me. The accusation is very serious and unfounded.
He continues to insist on running for presidency again in 2026, even though Brazil's electoral court had barred him from holding public office until 2030 for his actions to discredit the election. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
The ambassador will take a short break. We'll be right back with more as we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics.
How to avoid food poisoning. Tips to prevent foodborne illness. You'll need sealable containers, a cutting board, antibacterial soap, lemon juice or vinegar. Step 1. Check the dates of the food products before buying and before cooking. Step 2. Store food in the recommended temperatures to keep them fresh. Step 3. Discard any food that smells or looks questionable. Step 4. Separate meat and vegetables at storage. Step 5. Use plastic chopping boards and not wooden ones. Bacteria can get trapped in wooden boards. Step 6. Wash your hands thoroughly with antibacterial soap before handling food or after handling meat. Step 7. Refrigerate leftovers within 2 hours of cooking.
And the question of the day is, can you survive without internet?
Ngumu. Plus kuachilia hizo story tu zote zikupite ni ngori.
Mimi waambie ukweli. Like hii ni kama kuambia mtu mwenye alikuwa amezoea kushindana nguo, mwambie toa nguo ushinde uchi. Hiyo huku atriki kwa sababu sasa like ilikuwa imekuingia kwa kichwa kabisa.
Mimi nimesomea day school na niocha. So kukuwa na simu hadi ni ile katururu, si smartphone, ni ile katururu.
Sasa unaweza kaa holi ya bila simu.
Kuspend hii most of the time kwa simu. Also you need to run skills. So nilikutana na later hapa nikapo apply huko. And then I started learning skills. Digital skills.
Yes, hadi siku mbili haiwezi.
Kwa wiki naachilia hata kama ni siku mbili ama sometimes na extend to wiki mzima. Napata shiki simu yangu.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to The Ambassador, and thank you for staying tuned with us. Now, deadly wildfires continue to ravage South Korea's southeastern region, with the death toll rising to at least 26 and thousands forced to flee their homes. The fires, fueled by strong winds and dry weather, have spread quickly, destroying neighborhoods and threatening historical landmarks.
The wildfires in South Korea's southeastern region have killed at least 26 people and forced over 27,000 to evacuate their homes. Strong winds and dry weather have made the fires spread quickly, destroying neighborhoods, closing schools, and even forcing the transfer of inmates from prisons. Authorities have deployed more than 10,000 firefighters and 87 helicopters to battle the flames, but the situation remains critical. One firefighter tragically died when a firefighting helicopter crashed while working on the blaze, and the country's reliance on helicopter to fight the fires has been affected by technical issues with their fleet. The fires have damaged more than 15,000 acres of land and threatened UNESCO World Heritage Sites. The government has declared the affected areas special disaster zones and is using all available resources to control the fires. While light rain is expected to help, officials warn that extreme weather driven by climate change may lead to more frequent and severe wildfires in the future. The situation still remains critical, with authorities struggling to contain the rapidly spreading flames. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
And now, President Donald Trump has declared a 25% tariff on all automobiles imported into the United States. The move, which he says is aimed at protecting American jobs and manufacturing, is already sparking strong reaction from the auto industry and international trade partners.
That has been taken from us.
The Trump administration argues that these tariffs will force companies to bring manufacturing back to the U.S., boosting jobs and strengthening the economy. Automakers warns that this could lead to higher prices for American consumers, and some trade experts believe it could trigger a global trade war.
We're going to charge countries for doing business in our country and taking our jobs, taking our wealth, taking a lot of things that they've been taking over the years. They've taken so much out of our country, friend and foe, and frankly, friend has been oftentimes much worse than foe. And this is very modest. And what we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States. If they're made in the United States, there's absolutely no tariff. We start off with a 2.5% base, which is what we were at, and we go to 25%. And basically, as you know, and as you've been seeing, not reporting as accurately as it should be reported because it's a massive story. Business is coming back to the United States so that they don't have to pay tariffs. And I think also because of November 5th, the election, they're very happy.
Mark Carney, Prime Minister for Canada, criticizes Trump's 25% tariff on foreign-made vehicles. Carney warns that the move could hurt American consumers, damage global trade, and even backfires on the U.S. workers. He identified the tariffs as a direct attack.
During the course of that meeting, President Trump announced 25% tariffs against our auto industry. And this is a direct attack, to be clear, a direct attack on the very workers that I stood in front of, uniformed workers I stood in front of this morning at the Ambassador Bridge. A bridge that is a symbol and a reality up until now of the tight ties between our two countries, ties of kinship, ties of commerce, ties that are in the process of being broken. We will defend our workers. We will defend our companies. We will defend our country. And we will defend it together.
In Gaza, hundreds of residents have taken to the streets in protest against Hamas following the resurgence of conflict in the region. This demonstration marks a significant display of frustration and calls for change as violence escalates once again. Here is more on the scene.
The streets of Gaza were alive with voices of dissent on as hundreds gathered to protest against the ruling of a Hamas militant group who have governed Gaza since 2005. This rally comes in the wake of renewed hostilities, with many citizens expressing their grievances about the group's governance and the ongoing cycle of violence that has plagued the area.
I raised my son for 15 years only for him to be gone now. I built my house for 10 years and then what? It's gone, we want to leave. We are done. We gave them enough chances, but you, Hamas, let us down like all people in this world. We want a decent life for us and our children.
The death toll in Gaza has exceeded 50,000 civilians who have been killed by relentless Israeli airstrike. Protesters waved banners and shouted for accountability, demanding a shift towards a more peaceful and stable future. As tensions simmer in the background, the growing disillusionment among the residents of Gaza represents a pivotal moment in their struggle for change. Public sentiment appears to be shifting as people increasingly seek an end to the leadership that many believe has failed them. This protest not only highlights the desperation for improvement in daily life, but also underscores the urgent need for dialogue and resolution. The voices of these protesters symbolize a broader hope for peace, urging global attentions to the complexities of their situation and the necessity for the lasting solutions in the region. Triza Tiengo, GBS News.
Fear and uncertainty grip the city of Kursk as tensions rise following the expulsion of Ukrainian troops from Russian territory. Residents are expressing their anxieties about the potential for renewed warfare in the region. Here is more on the scene. We will bring more on that news, but now Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa has appointed former Army Chief Anselm Sanyatwe as the new sports minister. The move comes just weeks after Kirsty Conversely elections as president of the International Olympic Committee. Sanyatwe's reassignment marks a significant shift as it comes amid rising potential tensions within the ruling ZANU-PF party ahead of the 2028 general elections. Political analysts suggest this could be part of Mnangagwa's efforts to consolidate power and shield himself from internal challenges.
Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa has appointed former Army Chief Anselm Sanyatwe as the new sports minister. This follows the vacancy left by Kirsty Conversely, who became president of the International Olympic Committee earlier this month. Sanyatwe, who was retired from the army, now takes on a civilian role, marking a significant shift in his career. His removal as army chief comes amid rising political tensions ahead of the 2028 general elections. Analysts suggest that Mnangagwa's decision could be an attempt to shield himself from potential challenges, where factions are backing Vice President Constantino Chiwenga for a possible presidential bid.
What we're seeing now is a renewed struggle from within ZANU-PF, within factions in ZANU-PF, for control of the ruling party.
This move is a part of broader trend of reshuffling key security positions, including the heads of police, and intelligence. These changes signal Mnangagwa's efforts to tighten control as political disputes within ZANU-PF party intensifies. Elvin Muyodi, GBS News.
And that's all for today with me, your Ambassador Paul Madenge, on the Ambassador 1 p.m. Follow all of our stories at GBS TV. It's updated through the day. We meet every Thursday and Friday as we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. Thank you for your time and company.
Everywhere, GBS.